What up? Um, my name is Emmanuel, aka Druna, and I'm going to answer two philosophy questions. These are mainly pertaining to AI. I got these questions from what was it? I got these questions from philosophy.hku.hk. I'll link it in this description. So basically, two questions are: is the mind the same as the brain, or do we have souls? And can computers be creative? Now, I chose these two questions because of, uh, as you can, you know, probably tell, because of like AI and such. Um, and if they can like develop consciousness, right? But I believe that we are more than just our brain. Um, it's more than just like this stuff, because there are just some things where it's like just feelings like that, um, that just cannot be explained by normal means, right? And you can say, oh, it's the brain, oh, that's a third, just not whatever. But it's like, mm, I just don't think so, because there are like, unless you like enter like a soul, not a soul connection, but it's not. We all have souls, okay, and that's where empathy comes from, okay, and it often goes against all logic. Um, And I believe some people may have be blocked from empathy, but I believe that it's just their job to get back in touch with that, because you're not in touch with your soul at all. And I believe your soul is where creativity comes from, right? Because, and this is where can computers be creative comes from. Uh, your creativity comes from your soul, if that makes sense. Because why can't AI be truly creative? It can only give like prompts or whatever and things like that, right? It's like AI is AI is like definitely smarter than most people. At least they, not necessarily, but at least they know more, right? They just have more things that they have memorized, right? Whereas you have people who are like Albert Einstein, who have these theories, and they go out and they prove that theory to exist, and change how we understand science as a whole, right? And some people often believe that it's a misconception that um, having a soul or the spiritual existing would be a complete disservice and a complete just neglect of science in general, because they believe like, oh, blah 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 blah. There are some people who think that, oh, science is just complete bullshit, and some people who believe that science is the only thing. Science is God. Okay. Um, and to those people, I say balance is required, right? Yin and yang, like um, that's what that is. Balance. The balance between the spiritual and the physical, right? Because honestly, if you are only tapped into the spiritual, you will do your physical body a disservice. If you are only tapped into the physical, you will do your spiritual body a disservice. So you have to like bring them together, right? And you become tapped in, and yet but ground yourself, because that's how people get psychosis. People who are only grounded in earth are people, you are on the same plane as people who are like creeps, whatever, right? And I believe that even some people who think that they aren't tapped in are a lot more tapped in, right? I believe that oftentimes atheists are actually closer to God than like I will say most religious people. Like most people who follow the religions by like a book, and if they like spew like hate or like just things like just negativity, things like that, I believe that they are far from God, and they are tapping into something that is man-made and that is not actually of God. So they're tapping into the physical, as you know, which is why oftentimes they are like weirdos. You know, you have people in churches who are creeps. You have those people who are on a certain document are creeps, right? All of them, like, so they have tapped into the spiritual perceptively, But in all actuality, all they're doing is stealing. Right? All of that shit is energy harvesting because they literally cannot create for themselves because they cut themselves off. So it's like, and I'm not saying that every person in the industry, or even half the people in the industry, in any like entertainment industry, or like people who are like Christians or anything like that, because they do things that they enjoy and that they think is right? But you are mingling yourself with them, and by mingling yourselves with them, you are excusing that and bring yourself down to this plane and this plane only, and that makes you feel powerless. And the only way for you to feel powerful, if you're not tapped into your soul, the spiritual, is by getting things in the physical, right? And then like getting things in the physical, and then you can do things in money, right? So, in a sense, in this world, money is the spiritual power equivalent. Anyways, but all computers do is copy. They take copy, they mix it, and they observe humans, and they copy that too, right? And that's all they do, right? If you notice, they cannot display emotion. Those what are they like those the AI slop, it cannot portray emotion, right? And it's like you hear it try to portray fear, but it's like I don't know, it doesn't sound real because it's not fucking real. It's not coming from a real person, right? They try to portray happiness, and they're trying to portray a hype or whatever feeling that we get, like a giddy feeling, like a love, whatever, all of that. They try to portray it, but it just sounds flat because they literally, even though they know the human body back in through and through, atom by atom maybe, and they know how it works. They know how to portray sounds. They can portray human sound, human voices, completely and authentically. You can unless you if there is no emotion, it sounds exactly like the person, right? With maybe sometimes with no flaws. But it's always the time when they try to portray emotion that they can't. And I believe that your creativity also comes from your emotions, which is part of your emotions. Partially come from your soul, And actually, I believe your brain is your Dane. That's crazy. I believe your brain is a dampener. Especially with the studies that show people who take psychedelics expand their brains, and they see more, or they just think more for whatever reason. When people meditate, those shamans, Buddhists, when they meditate, they are literally doing things that are so much more powerful than physical psychedelics, right? And that's why psychedelics are not a key to the spiritual. I mean, they're like a doorway, right, to kind of show you, to make you want to pursue, but it's not the actual thing itself. Anyways, if you like philosophy, or if you're part of your journey, where you want to just know how the difference between the brain and the spiritual, and why AI isn't like us, and all those things. Like the video. I hope this helped at least someone. Yeah. Follow my TikTok, follow my Substack, follow my Twitch, and subscribe for more. And this is really something I want to do. I feel really called to this, and I really, it's not I can't do jobs, whatever. I'm a hard worker, but it's it's never right. But this feels right to me, despite its challenges and all those things. And I really hope I can do that. And I am asking for your support. Maybe just stick around, maybe. Anyways, I'm done.